The grand Thornfield Concert Hall shimmered under soft golden lights, ready to welcome the city's most elite guests. Amid the quiet hum of preparation, 38-year-old Marcus Chen moved carefully across the stage, polishing every surface until it gleamed. His olive green uniform marked him as the janitor, a man most would overlook. For 2 years, Marcus had worked behind the scenes at Thornfield. The hours suited him enough time to pick up his 6-year-old daughter, Emma, from school and tuck her into bed every night. Life was simple and honest, though a far cry from the one he once dreamed of. Tonight, the hall would host its annual Thornfield Foundation Gala, a dazzling black-tie affair where wealth, influence, and prestige gathered beneath one roof. As Marcus wiped down the Steinway grand piano at center stage, he paused. Its polished surface reflected his face like a mirror, and for a fleeting moment, he saw not a janitor, but the musician he used to be. Almost done there, Marcus. The voice came from James Wellington, the 52-year-old CEO of Wellington Industries and chairman of the foundation. His tuxedo was flawless, his confidence unmistakable. "Yes, sir," Marcus replied quietly. "Everything's ready for the performance." Wellington nodded, checking his gold watch. "Excellent. The maestro should be here any minute." As guests began to arrive, city leaders, patrons of the arts, and philanthropists, Wellington's eyes lingered on Marcus. "Tell me, Marcus," he said with a teasing smile, "do you play the piano?" Caught off guard, Marcus gave a modest nod. "A little, sir. Nothing professional." Wellington's grin widened. "Well then, ladies and gentlemen," he announced, turning toward the growing crowd. "It seems our own janitor here has some hidden musical talents. What do you say we let him give us a little preview before the main concert?" Laughter rippled through the room. Phones came out. They expected a funny little performance, a working man fumbling through a tune on a $2 million piano. Marcus's heart pounded. He wanted to refuse, but something in him shifted. He looked out at the amused faces, people who had no idea what he had given up, what he carried inside. So, he stepped toward the piano, sat down, adjusted the bench with quiet precision, and then he played. The first notes of Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major drifted through the hall like a whisper. The sound was pure, fluid, alive. Within seconds, the laughter vanished. Every head turned, every breath stilled. Marcus's fingers moved with effortless grace, not the clumsy touch of an amateur, but the soul of a man who had once lived for the music. As the melody unfolded, the audience's smiles faded into awe. The janitor had vanished, and in his place sat a true artist. When the final note hung in the air, silence filled the room. Then, slowly, applause began. Soft at first, then thunderous, a standing ovation. Wellington, visibly moved, stepped forward. "That was extraordinary," he said. "Where on earth did you learn to play like that?" Marcus hesitated, then answered softly, "I graduated from the New England Conservatory 12 years ago. I used to perform before my wife passed away. After that, I needed steady work to care for my daughter. So, here I am." A hush fell over the crowd. For the first time, they truly saw him. "Marcus," Wellington said, his voice gentler now, "would you honor us with one more piece?" Marcus smiled faintly and nodded. Sitting once more at the piano, he began Bach's air on the G-string, Emma's favorite lullaby. The notes rose and fell like a father's promise. Many in the audience wiped tears from their eyes, touched by something real, something rare. When the final chord faded, Wellington stepped forward again, his voice trembling slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we gathered to celebrate the arts, and we have just witnessed its truest form. The Thornfield Foundation will be creating a scholarship for Marcus Chen to support his return to music while ensuring his daughter's future." The applause that followed was no longer polite, it was heartfelt. 6 months later, Marcus stood on that same stage, no longer in a janitor's uniform, but in a black concert suit. The hall was full again, and in the front row sat little Emma, her eyes shining with pride as her father played. Wellington kept a photo from that night on his office wall. Marcus at the piano in his olive green uniform, a reminder that greatness often hides in the quiet corners of life, waiting for a chance to be heard. And as Emma proudly tells anyone who will listen, "My daddy's the best piano player in the whole world, not because he plays for rich people, but because he never stopped playing for me." Whispers of kindness, where every story reminds us that compassion, sacrifice, and hidden brilliance can change the world.